Okay, good afternoon friends. So today we'll discuss budget 2023-24. So this budget will start getting implemented from 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024. Already budget has presented by the finance minister to the parliament, and there was a general discussion on the budget. After that there was a recess for the parliament again met. Now they have to discuss the demands for the grants, but they are busy with asking the apology from Rahul Gandhi, and opposition party they are busy with to discuss Adani and Hindenburg report. We don't know whether they will discuss the demand for the grant. Ultimately, there is an instrument called Guillotine. Finally, they will pass the Guillotine and they will pass an appropriation bill and finance bill. Budget will over. We don't know. Let us wait and see on Monday, at least from Monday onwards, whether they will start discussing the demands for grants or not. Okay. This is the process that you are already aware. Okay. Okay, so budget 2023-24, you are all aware that it is just an estimation. It is an estimation for next year. We don't know whether they will exactly do what they have projected, but mostly they will do with some minor aberration. And this budget is not just an economic document. You are all aware it's a political document, and it is also a philosophical document, a document which reflects the philosophy of the government. Normally, okay, so the context and philosophy. Every budget has its own context. Okay, budget, though, okay, regular salaries, wages, pensions, subsidies, that is a regular phenomenon, but every budget has its own context. Even if you are the finance minister, you cannot present the same type of budget for 5 years. Because when you are in the first year, your priorities are different. When you are in second year, your priorities may change. In the third year, suddenly there is an external pressure, or suddenly there is an internal compulsions. Suddenly fourth year, immediately you are going for the elections. So your priorities will get changed. The context is different. And before we understand the budget, you must understand the context. And in that context, what type of solutions that they want to bring. And after understanding the whole economy subject, now ideologically there are different solutions to the same problem. It is up to the different political parties how they will pursue to solve that problem. Okay. Now the context is, so after economic survey, now you can understand it clearly. There is a global slowdown and dual impact, that is post COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war. So this is, in this condition we are discussing the budget, and your finance minister must give something to contain the impact of global slowdown. If she ignorant about the global slowdown, that budget cannot give the good results. Next, global supply chain disruption, again repetition from point 1. Monetary tightening by the central banks. So these 3 points you are all aware. Impact of COVID-19 on people and alleviate their problems, this is the responsibility of the government. So in the post COVID-19 scenario, there was an education loss, there is an employment loss. So definitely, and the economy has not grown to that extent in the last 1 or 2 years. So you have to keep the impact of COVID-19 on both people, and to alleviate this problem is one of the contexts in which finance minister has presented her budget. Another important thing is reform agenda of the government. This government always talks about reform. This government already brought lot of reforms. Are you going to continue the same reform? What is the progress? What is the level of improvement in the reform? What type of new reforms that you are going to bring? Are you following the same reform path? Are you changing your reform path? So she has to mention about the reforms. Next, full-fledged budget before the general election. So normally country will go for general election in the year 2024. By the time of March, maybe they will dissolve the house and they will go for the election, March or April. So this is the first full-fledged budget, and maybe next year last full-fledged budget. Okay, last full-fledged budget before the general election, and maybe there is a vote on account next year, but vote on account don't have much, simply they will give for that whatever 1 or 2 months. Okay, so this is the context: global slowdown, global supply chain disruption, monetary tightening, impact of COVID-19 on people and alleviate their problems, reform agenda of the government, and the last full-fledged budget before the general election. And those things, that means the problem just I have mentioned, it has its own impact on both exports, imports, production, prices or inflation, overall growth. So now in this critical condition, when your exports and imports, when your production and inflation growth is affecting, what type of policies that this government want to pursue? What type of policies this government want to pursue? So here you need to understand the philosophy. See, if you don't understand the philosophy of a government, you cannot understand the budget. You can always misunderstand the budget, because your after presentation of the budget, always your prime minister says that it is a good budget, and always your opposition leader says that this is the worst ever budget I have seen my entire political life. This is how the comment every year you will get. Why they are considering like that, and why these people are considering like this? Okay, they have their own political motive anyway, but there is also a change in their philosophy. See, during the COVID-19, how we must, or during the global recession time, how we need to keep the economy back on track. So there are two different viewpoints. One government always believes that you must focus on people. You must give a lot of benefits to the people. You must first create the employment to the people. You must focus more on social welfare. You must focus on education and health more. This is how one government argue. What this government is arguing, that philosophy you must understand. If you start observing the budget in that lens only, you can understand, with that lens only you can understand that budget. Okay, if you are completely with communist ideology, and if you are started observing the BJP budget, then you always ridicule it. And let us take the case of Communist Party budget. If you are a capitalist in your ideology and you start observing your Pinarahi budget, you always ridicule it. Okay, but the point is, okay, all the ideologies for the development of the country. So which ideology is good, which ideology is bad? So there is no black and white solution. There are problems in both the things. The only thing is government changes and they are doing their development in their own paths. So one government in 2004 decided like we must have an employment guarantee program, but the present government is believing that is ridicule. It won't give any results. How long you will go on asking the people to do the unskilled work? This is how one government strongly believes like, no, we must ensure the food security, you must give free food grains. But other government strongly believes that no, if you give food grains, it becomes lot of wastage and pilferage. You have to give direct transfers, let them focus on whatever they want. So this is how one government strongly believes in like, no, you have to extract as many taxes as possible from the rich people so that there will be a distribution of income in the society. Other people believes like, no, you must create opportunities for the wealth creators, let them come, let them invest, and that is how you can create the jobs. So this is all ideological differences. So I am not here to argue which ideology is correct and which ideology is wrong. But when you are discussing about the BJP's government budget, you must understand the political philosophy of BJP. Otherwise, you can't understand their budget. Simply will say like, okay, this government has cut down in MG Narega, cut down in MG Narega. This government is always privatizing, always privatizing. They are here for privatization. They are here for privatization. They are here for more participation of the private people. How fast they are doing, how diligently they are doing, that you have to observe. But if you are completely with a different mindset, if you are observing, no, Modi is selling away the country, Modi is selling away the country, that is how you will understand. So any budget, whether it is union, whether this party or that party, you must understand their political and economic philosophy. With that philosophy only you can understand this budget. Okay, otherwise you don't understand their priorities. So philosophy: sustained and inclusive growth possible through the investments. This is a major philosophy that they strongly believes in. At any cost in the economy, we have to increase the investments. That is the only way through which we can achieve the sustained growth and inclusive growth at any cost, at the cost of even to the social security also. They will focus on investment. They are not here to give lot of social security benefits. By rationalizing the social security benefits, they want to focus more on investments. And when it comes to the investments, one is public investment and second one is private investment. One is public investment, second one is private investment. They are not saying like only we will invest. We will invest to some extent. They are asking other to invest. That you call it as crowding effect. So the government is investing through the capital expenditure, and they are encouraging the private people to invest by implementing the reforms. Whether it can be GST, whether it can be FDI liberalization, whether it can be PLI, whether it can be anything. So their focus is on investment, first priority. Okay. Next, creating business friendly environment for startups, entrepreneurs, MSMEs, that leads to the job creation. So their way of job creation is something different. They are not promised like we will create the job by issuing the notification through UPSC or SSC board. No. They said like we will create the jobs through the investment, especially the startups, entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs and MSMEs. That is their philosophy. Enhancing domestic demand and purchasing power. So one of their again philosophy is we have to enhance the demand in the domestic economy and purchasing power of the individuals. So how best we can create the purchasing power, how best we can enhancing the domestic demand in the economy is important. Next, identifying the potential of Indians, enhancing the market potential of Indian products and skill development. Again, this is their philosophy. So, because I have an opportunity to interact with some of the BJP leaders, I tried to ask them question in a different way. See, you are representing an urban constituency, because I am from Hyderabad, no? Lot of jobs in the Hyderabad are taken by non-Hyderabadis, that means from other states. Don't you want to protest on this? Even if you ask any low-level worker, they say like, no, our priority is not to reserve this job to this or that. Our priority is only to skill the people. Let them do the job in Hyderabad or let them do their job anywhere. So their focus is only on skill development. They don't go for any other means to create the employment. Okay, because some of the states are now coming up like, so we will reserve the jobs for only local people, but they are not for that. Their only aim is to enhance the skill development, identify the potential of Indians and create the market opportunities for the Indian products. That is what their philosophy. Next, sustainable development. Yes, this government is focusing more on sustainable development by focusing on the balance between environment and economic growth. Environment and economic growth. Another important thing is fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline and resource augmentation to assure future generations and investors. So this fiscal discipline and resource augmentation is very, very important. They are not here to maintain financial indiscipline. At any cost, they are assuring always to the future generations and as well as the investor that we are here to maintain the fiscal discipline. You please come and invest, because our fiscal discipline will always impact the investors. Investor always looks for your fiscal deficit. If your fiscal deficit is wide, they think that these idiots' fiscal deficit is very high. They have to pay high interest rate every year. For that, they will extract more amount of tax from us. Why should we go to that country? And apart from this, this government is a nationalistic government with lot of emphasis on defense, and as well as they are giving more focus on northeastern India. That consistent focus on defense and northeastern India is continuing for last so many years, but that is also one of their focus. Okay, so if you looking into the budget, yes, that budget will cover these aspects. Budget covers these aspects. Okay, and finance minister starts her speech with, okay, we are here to this is budget speech. Okay, So there is a clearly written speech. Every word what she spoke on that day is from this document. Okay, you want to see even including honorable speaker. Okay, this is how she starts reading. I present the budget for 2023-24. This is the first budget in the Amrit Kal. Everything she'll simply read from this. This is not the budget. This is only budget speech. This is only budget speech. So she will read this whole budget, and her budget itself starts with, we envision a prosperous and inclusive India in which fruits of development reach all regions and citizens, especially our youth, women, farmers, OBCs, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. That's what says like inclusivity. Okay, and Indian economy as a bright star. The phrase bright star used by both economic survey and the budget. Okay, it's nothing wrong if you use the word bright star. Okay,
Amrita IAS Academy.